Hi boys and girls, my name is Miss Jennifer and I'm a teaching artist in the PACE Art program. I'm here today to do a fun art lesson with you. I am so glad that you could join me. Today we will be doing a social living art-based lesson. For this lesson we will be learning about community leaders. The community leader that we are going to be talking about today is a construction worker. We will also be drawing a picture of ourselves as construction workers today. We will learn about the different kinds of jobs that construction workers do in our community. We will look at pictures of machines and tools that are used on this kind of job. And we will also look at a few pictures of the owner of a construction company and a few pictures of Miss Jennifer using the equipment on a construction site. I took some time to do an interview with the owner of a local company. I will be sharing some of the answers to the questions I had for him a little later today. The supplies that you will need today will be a white sheet of paper, a variety of crayons, and markers. We will be talking about lines, shapes, and colors for our lesson today. We will also focus on a landscape because our construction worker is working outside. We will also learn the difference between a self-portrait and a portrait. Boys and girls, what is a community leader? Well, first of all, community leaders are also known as community helpers. And community leaders are people that live and work in our community. Their goal or their job is to do everything that they can to help provide us with goods and services that we need. So, who are some community leaders that you might know? I want you to turn to your friend and I want you to tell your friend one leader or community leader that you know. Go ahead and do that now. Good job. I heard some really good answers. I heard answers like doctor, firemen, police officers, teachers, and I even heard construction workers. What is a construction worker? Well, a construction worker is a person who builds bridges, roads, houses, buildings, but they don't always just build things like houses or buildings. They also do something else. Here, they are taking down a building. Sometimes construction workers have to take down buildings, or what's also called demolish buildings. When buildings are not safe, they have to be taken down. A lot of times, the buildings are taken down and then new buildings are built in the place that the old building was at. In this picture, the house was damaged by a fire, and so they're taking the house down to build a new one. So the main part of a construction worker's job is to make sure that they fix things and they keep the structures that people live in or drive on safe for us to be able to use them. So as you see here, I have a picture of a friend of mine. His name is Paul Como, and Paul Como is the owner of PSC Construction in Broussard. Mr. Paul was nice enough to let Miss Jennifer go on a construction site with him. Here, he is working on building a pond. He needs a place in order for the water to go so that he can build around this pond. So here you see a picture of Mr. Paul, and he is on a piece of equipment called an excavator. It has a really, really long front, and there's a scoop at the end of it. And if you look carefully, this is what an excavator looks like. Mr. Paul was very kind to let Miss Jennifer try out some of the equipment. And so you will see here, this is called a mule. This is the equipment that is used to get all of the construction workers out onto the construction site. Sometimes they have to travel very far to get where they need. Now, look carefully. Who do you see on this mule? Well, Miss Jennifer. I drove myself to the construction site on the mule. And now, here's another picture. I am using a different kind of equipment, and here I'm helping Mr. Paul take the dirt that's in a pile away from the pond that he is building. So this piece of equipment is called a skid steer loader. It has a scoop that you use to move the dirt around. And here's another one. Can you imagine the fact that that's Miss Jennifer way up on that piece of equipment? Well, this piece of equipment is called a backhoe, and it usually has a front loader and a back loader. Basically, that means that there's a scoop in the back and a scoop in the front. And here I am digging the dirt out of this really deep pond and putting the dirt onto the side of the pond. And so, as you can see, equipment is a very big part of what construction workers use in order to get a job done. Hi, boys and girls! In case you were wondering what I was wearing when I was on the construction site, I'm going to go over a couple of things that I have on. This is called gear. These are things that keep you safe on a construction site. Here I have a hard hat. As you can see, it's very hard. In case something would fall on my head, it will protect my head. You will also see that I have safety glasses to keep things from flying into my eyes. And I have this orange, kind of pinkish vest that lets other people around know that I am on the job and helps to keep me safe. And so, I want to go over a couple of pieces of machinery that you saw Mr. Paul and Miss Jennifer on. And the first one here is the skid steer loader. The next one is a backhoe. Now, the backhoe has a scoop in the back and a scoop in the front. Here we have a bulldozer, which is usually used to kind of push things out of the way. And here we have an excavator, and an excavator is also used to dig things. And so these are a couple pieces of equipment that are used on a job site. Now, I want to go ahead and I want to start drawing. I'm going to keep my gear on because as I draw a picture of myself today, I will be drawing what you see here. Now, really quick, we are going to be drawing a picture of ourselves today. And what that means is that you're going to draw what you see in the mirror, what you look like. That is called a self-portrait. Let's say it together. Self-portrait. Good job. When we draw a picture of ourselves, you can point your thumbs to you. Now, if we make a picture of someone else, so we draw a picture or take a picture of someone else, that is called a portrait. Let's say that together. Portrait. Good job. Now, we're not making a picture of someone else today. We are making a picture of ourselves. So let's get started. I'm going to use a black marker to draw. You could use a brown marker if you want, a black marker, a pencil. It's really up to you. And I'm going to start off first by drawing my head. And my head, even though it's kind of like a circle or an oval, I'm only going to draw part of it. And I'm going to draw it on the top. So about right here from the top, I want you to draw a curved line, just like this. We're only drawing the bottom because we're going to be drawing the hat. Then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw a straight line going across the top. That is the brim part of this hat. That's the part that kind of keeps your eyes out of the sun. All right, and I think I'm going to draw another curved line on top of that. Good job. All right, now making my hard hat. Another curved line. And then I think I want to make 2 more curved lines. Because some hard hats, mine has one in the middle, but sometimes they have these kind of ridges on both sides. Good job. All right, the next thing I want to do is I want to draw 2 circles for my web, boys and girls, my eyes. And you can color part of it in, just like this. Very good. All right, now above my eyes, I have an eyebrow. Good job. So let's use our curved lines to make eyebrows. One on this side, one on this side. And now we're going to make our nose. And I'm just going to make my nose this way. Maybe you can make it curved if you want. It's really up to you. And you could maybe even make it go the opposite way. And so here's my nose, right here in the middle of my face. Now I'm really, really happy because I got a chance to go and ride all of that equipment. And so of course I'm gonna make myself with a big old smile on my face. You could draw a smile if you want, just like Miss Jennifer's, or maybe even just a smile like this without the little lines on the sides. So now I have my head. And the next thing I want to do is I want to draw my neck. In order to draw our neck, so here's our curve. We're going to kind of draw a curve and a curve. So right underneath, we're going to make our neck. And so here we go, curve and curve. And there is my neck. Now don't forget, I have this piece of safety gear, or this apron, but I also have a shirt underneath. So I will need to make my shirt. And so here we go. I'm going to make a curve for the color of my shirt. And you can do that now. Now the next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be making our apron. And if you look very carefully, the apron kind of goes like this on Miss Jennifer's shoulders. Notice how it's kind of cut off here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a curve going this way, a curve going this way. And then we're going to go down just a little bit, and that's where my arms are going to start. So let's do that. Some of us kind of even like making just big curves. Good job. All right, now I'm going to make this line. This is part of a zigzag line, but it's only one part. What letter does this look like if we turned it upside down? If you said a letter V, good job. Awesome. All right, now the next thing I want to do is I want to make a curve going this way and a curve going this way, because that is going to be the parts that are going to make my apron. Remember, these are my shoulders, this is my neck. And I'm going to go down and I'm going to make the bottom of my shirt using straight lines. Looking good, boys and girls. All right, and then I think while I'm at it, you know what? I'm going to go with a straight line here, a straight line there. Now, if I drew my shirt, what do you think I'm drawing now? My pants. Awesome. And you can go one across and another one across, leaving it with a space in the middle, because we're going to go back to our upside down V. But this time we're going to make it longer. So up and then down, like an upside down V. Good job. Now if you want, you could put a line with maybe some buttons here. You could even, if you want to put buttons on your pants, you can do that too. Very good, boys and girls. All right, now we need something on both sides. What would this be? Our arms. Awesome. And here we go. So we're going to go down with our straight lines on one side and down on the other. And there we go. We have 2 arms. Now, we're going to put something in our hands. So we're going to make really simple hands. Our hands today are going to be kind of like these little circles or ovals. And so here we go. So here's one, and we're going to do it again on this side. So that's kind of like just the top of our hand without our fingers showing like this. All right. Now, we talked about different kinds of tools that construction workers use, and one of them would be a hammer, a good job screwdriver. Now, not all screwdrivers are the same that I learned from Mr. Paul. They're different kinds. And I also have this really big wrench. This is called an adjustable wrench. And I have another one that is an adjustable wrench. Two different kinds of wrenches. Now notice that construction workers use really big tools because a lot of times they're working on really large projects. And one more tool that's important. And this, you might have seen before, is a tape measure. Tape measures are used to measure pieces of wood, pieces of metal, how long they need cement to be. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. If you look here, there are lots of numbers on this measuring tape. One thing that you have to be really good at in order to have these kinds of jobs is you have to be good at math. You need to be able to add things up quickly when you are measuring. And so a measuring tape, and here's a clip that fits on their pants. And so we're going to take those tools and they're going to be put into this box. Any idea what this box might be called? A toolbox. Good job. And you can see it has a handle. And so now I want to make my toolbox. I'm going to make a curve with another curve inside for my handle. Now remember, we're seeing the back of my hand, so the back of your hand is going to be right on top, just like this. So here's my hand, and a curve, and then another curve on the inside. Kind of wants to look like a rainbow, doesn't it? Very good. All right, now I'm going to draw a straight line, and then I'm going to leave space, and I'm going to draw another straight line that's the same length. Very good. I'm going to draw a line going this way and a line going this way. Now when we made our two lines going from side to side, we made diagonal lines. Good job. And then we made two lines going down, and those were also diagonal lines. So we made lines going this way and we made lines going that way. Good job. So there's our toolbox. And in this hand, I want to make a hammer. So watch Miss Jennifer. We're going to make the handle first. Now remember, we need to make sure that the handle's going to fit inside of our hand. And so that part is in the round part of our hand. And then we're going to make this part. I know this part is called the claw of the hammer. And so I'm going to start here and I'm going to make a curved line with a point. So here we go, a curved line with a point. All right, and then now we want to make this part. So we're going to come around and we're going to sort of make like a little circle in this part. So right here, we're going to make a little circle, and that's going to be this rounded part here. And then we're going to connect it back together. And now we have our hammer. Now, if you decide later that you want to add another piece of tool to your picture, you can do that. Maybe one laying on the ground or something. Good job. All right. Now, construction workers also have another piece of gear, and those are their boots. They wear steel-toe boots. Those boots are really hard, and it will protect them if something heavy falls on their feet. And so the way we're going to do that today is we're going to go down and down, down and down with vertical lines. And then we're going to make a curve on this side where it connects back together, and a curve on this side and it connects back together. Now I'm going to tell you something. If your boots are really big, you did a good job, because I saw the boots and they are really, really big boots. Awesome. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to now make the grounds of our picture. So I drew the grounds And if you want to draw some rocks, you could do that, because maybe you're standing in the dirt that has lots of clumpy clay in it. All right, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make my hair. My hair is curly hair. You can make the hair look the way that your hair looks. Maybe you have short hair. Maybe you have curly hair. It's really up to you. Good job. Now, our construction site was outside, so if you want to go ahead and maybe you want to add a sun, maybe you want to add some clouds, you could definitely do that to your picture. All right, so now I have my picture drawn, and now I want to start coloring. Now, Miss Jennifer's probably not going to have enough time to color all of my picture today, but that's okay, because you can always finish coloring your picture later. All right, so while I'm coloring today, I'm also going to tell you a couple of the things that Mr. Paul told Miss Jennifer when I interviewed him. All right, we're going to start off first with our skin. Now, not all of us have the same skin color. That is called skin tone. Some of us might have skin that's a light brown, just like this. Maybe some of you might have darker brown skin, and that is okay. Some of you might have really, really light skin, and we could use a lighter color. So here are some of the colors we could use. A light peach, a darker brown, and an even darker brown. So you might want to put your crayon next to you to see the color that you are going to color yourself. Now, Miss Jennifer, of course, we know is peach, and so I'm going to color myself peach. I'm going to color my arms and my hands, and I'm also going to color this little part right here, because this part right here could also be part of my skin. I'm going to color my face, and I'm going to color my neck. Now remember, if your skin's a different color, you can color that. And I could even, maybe my skin's between the light peach and brown, and maybe I can even mix those colors a bit, just like this. All right, I know that my hair is sort of a brownish red, so I could even color my hair. And there we go. So I'm going to color some red, and then I'm going to try to color some brown. Maybe some of you have really black hair, maybe really light hair. If you have blonde hair, you might want to use yellow and brown. All right, and so there I go. And I also want to make sure that I color my vest orange, because that is the color that they are most of the time on construction sites, just like this. Now, if you even want to add some safety glasses to your picture, you can also do that. And so I asked Mr. Paul, when I was interviewing him, what made him decide to become a construction worker? And the answer that he gave me was that he loved to build things. I thought that was pretty cool. I also asked Mr. Paul, and as you can see, you can continue coloring while Miss Jennifer talks. I colored my boots. I also asked Mr. Paul how long he had been working on a construction crew, and he told me about 20 years. Now that's a really, really, really long time to be working on a construction crew. I also asked him, what is your favorite part of the job? He said he liked building houses for people, and when he needed, he also sort of worked on starting new foundations, which is like new cement, and he likes also making like ponds and different things like that. And so Mr. Paul does all kinds of work with all of the tools and the machinery that we see here. If you want, maybe later you can make a different picture and you could add one of these pieces of equipment to your picture. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color my sky, and I'm going to color it with some blue. As you can see, I colored my little pants, I colored my toolbox, And the cool thing, again, that we have learned before is that we can mix several different colors together when we color, and we kind of mix and blend those colors, and we can make our sky look like maybe it's lighter and maybe it's darker in some areas. We could also color our sun yellow. Maybe we could go back and we could even add some orange or some red. So there you go. You now have a picture of yourself as a construction worker. And when you have time, you could add things to your picture. Today, we learned about a community leader or a community helper. We learned about the job of a construction worker. We drew ourselves as construction workers. We learned about the equipment and the tools used by construction workers. We learned about the owner of a construction company. And we also got to see Miss Jennifer doing a little work on a job site. I want you to take some time and finish coloring your picture if you have extra time. I also want you to take some time to share your picture with your family and friends. Once again, I enjoyed making art with you. Until next time, let's keep making art.